Yeah, I think for me, it's really over time, I've been able to understand more who I am, but my creative practice has allowed me to do that. It's the creative practice and the doing the work and doing the art or doing the filmmaking or the painting or whatever your thing is that has actually unpacked and opened up who I am.
Wow, so
Because if I
powerful.
hadn't done that, if I hadn't attempted the creative practice, I wouldn't be so self-aware.
Yeah. Welcome to Soul-Led Creative Women, a podcast for creatively curious women seeking rich, soul-led ways to look after themselves better. I'm Sam Horton, and in this episode, I'm talking with Kath McIntyre. Kath supports online service-based entrepreneurs share their personality and brilliance with their ideal clients through video. Today, we'll be talking about how a creative mindset can help you find your true voice and help you share your brilliance with the world. So today I have Kath McIntyre with me. Kath has more than 25 years experience in the film and TV industry. She's cracked the code on how to use storytelling in your videos. And today she supports online service-based entrepreneurs share their personality and their brilliance with their ideal clients through video. She believes video can be simple, easy, and fun. So welcome, Kath.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Lovely to talk to you.
Lovely to talk to you too. So today we're going to be talking about all the things that you do, but specifically around, applying a creative mindset to help you, show your authentic self to enhance your personal and business life. So it sounds like you've had a fairly creative working life across the years. How important was it for you to find creativity in your work when you were younger? So today I have Kath McIntyre with me. Kath has more than 25 years experience in the film and TV industry. She's cracked the code on how to use storytelling in your videos. And today she supports online service-based entrepreneurs share their personality and their brilliance with their ideal clients through video. She believes video can be simple, easy, and fun. So welcome, Kath.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Lovely to talk to you.
Lovely to talk to you too. So today we're going to be talking about all the things that you do, but specifically around, applying a creative mindset to help you, show your authentic self to enhance your personal and business life. So it sounds like you've had a fairly creative working life across the years. How important was it for you to find creativity in your work when you were younger?
Well, funnily enough, I actually was in science-based jobs when I was younger. I was actually a veterinary nurse because I was animal crazy, right? So at school, I loved biology and science, and all I wanted to do was be a veterinary nurse. I did that for many years, and then I started traveling. And I at first wanted to be a journalist. I saw the world. I wanted to tell people stories and make the world a better place. So at first I wanted to be a journalist, and then that turned into being a documentary filmmaker. So I kind of changed from that kind of science background at around about 25 into an arts background and embraced creativity and storytelling.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, and what was this big shift then? How did you go from the veterinary science stuff into, what happened?
Yeah.
Those
It was
moments.
It was really interesting because I don't know what happens when we're kids, but, when you're a little kid, you're encouraged to draw and dance and sing and all those things. And then somewhere in teenagehood, that all goes away and you're not encouraged so much, by society to pursue creative endeavours. And so I've always wondered why that happened. And so I suppose I'm just a tale of that I was encouraged to be creative when I was little. I did dancing, all that kind of thing. And then it gradually came back to me, just slowly,
Mm.
through just, getting older, having a bit more maturity, traveling a bit, seeing the world, and trying to, for me, creativity comes from trying to understand myself and other people.
Wow. It's such a common theme, isn't it? It's particularly for our generation, wasn't seen as important, as getting the proper job and
Mm.
doing things. But actually, creativity does help you to figure it all out, and
Mm.
to really know yourself. So is just as important, I think, in terms of all the academic achievement and everything else. Would you agree with that?
I totally agree. I absolutely agree. And I think, I mean, we'll talk about this probably a little bit later, but, a creative journey is a fantastic journey to go on around your own self-awareness. It's helped
Mhm.
me incredibly.
Yeah. So how then has creativity played a role in your own empowered wellness story then? How has it made you the person that you are today?
I think I've been on a very, very long journey with this, and creativity's definitely helped me, in particular filmmaking. I mean, I work with entrepreneurs now, helping them tell their stories on video, but I also started as a documentary maker. And I think having that curiosity in your creative practice is really important, and also not only curiosity in the work that you're doing, but curiosity around your own approach to the practice. And that can come with, lots of kind of ups and downs. If we all have the inner critic and self-doubt, but I think, using creativity to actually challenge some of those unhelpful thoughts and inner critic that we have has been extremely valuable to me. It's really helped me unpack how I think, and has really kind of helped me with my well-being and mental health as well.
Mm. And so what does that look like for you, in terms of on a week to week basis? What does that how does that feature for you then? Obviously if it's that important to you, then you kind of want to show up for it, don't you? So
Yeah. I think to have a creative practice or work in the creative industries, you have to have curiosity, imagination, and you have to be vulnerable at times. A lot of the work that I do, particularly in film and TV industry, you're often working with people creating scripts or projects, and you need a certain amount of authenticity. You have to bring stuff from your own life into the work. So being creative is just a part of who I am now. I don't necessarily think of myself as an artist. I think of myself as a collaborator. So I love to collaborate with people and help them realize their creative work, whether it be whatever it is, whether it be, videos in business, script writing, painting, whatever. That's really important to me. And so for me, it's all about collaborating and that relationship. And so by helping people create their own work and find their genius actually really lights me up and has been incredibly rewarding to me. That's
mm,
why I do what I do.
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. I've had a bit of an epiphany of late where actually, it's this shift. It's honoring like the feminine energy within us, and the creativity is actually at the center of that feminine energy,
Mm.
and balancing it out against the masculine. And when we do that, that's when we can really know ourselves and, kind of get the best of both worlds, rather
Mhm.
than staying in our heads all the time and feel into things and, really get the creative juices flowing, so to speak. It doesn't necessarily have to always look like drawing a picture or painting something. It's actually a mindset, you know what I mean? And sitting in that feminine energy. Yeah, what are your thoughts around that?
Definitely. I think of it in this way rather than kind of feminine and masculine. I think of it as showing courage and compassion, and being kind of creative and flexible. So it is that pole, like masculine and feminine, but I just think about it differently. So you have to show courage to be authentic, but you actually have to also be compassionate to yourself as well,
Yeah, sure.
because it's to be vulnerable
Mhm.
is hard, and
Mhm.
some people don't feel very comfortable with it. But I think you do need an element of vulnerability to be a good artist. And so you do need compassion along with that. You know,
Yeah.
you got to be curious and not hard on yourself, and just be willing to play.
Yeah.
And to take action and to kind of jump in. Now, I know that's not easy for everybody. I know that is hard, but it's a bit like riding a bike. The more you do it, the more you get used to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Play is huge. So in your work, you help women to overcome their fears and overwhelm of being on camera. So how would you say a creative mindset, plays a role in shifting beliefs and perceptions when it comes to video confidence?
So a lot of the women I work with don't feel very confident on camera. They're very worried about being judged or what people will think. And so what I do is I work with them around thinking about taking the pressure off them, and it's being about being of service to others. So when I'm working with them and we're doing videos, it's who is that one person that you're talking to? Don't think that you're talking to hundreds of people. Who's that one person? One person that you know that you can help, or that one person in the whole world that you trust, that you talk to. I even sometimes get the women to put a photo up of that one person next to if they're doing it on the camera or Zoom or whatever, have that one person, whether it be an ideal client that they can be of service to, or someone that they absolutely trust, so they feel like they're just speaking to that person, and then they're not worried about, all the other kind of unhelpful thoughts that pop into your head.
It's so powerful. So I wonder how that's going to shift for the next generation then, because I think they've got more exposure to kind of seeing themselves on camera. What are your thoughts around that?
Well, I mean, younger people are quite confident on camera. They've grown up in the digital age, they're digital natives, they're very confident, but we're all human and our brains are all wired the same. So I know that they still have the same mindset issues that need shifting, like, comparing yourself to others, all that kind of thing. Because I've spoken to actually quite a few young people about it, and they still need to do that mindset work. Yeah.
I guess they just accept that it's, it has to be done. Maybe we're a bit more resistant because, it hasn't always been the norm, has it? So
no, that's right. Putting yourself on camera is a big thing, but it's a very effective thing as well. It is the way to build relationships and trust and rapport with your community or your ideal client or whoever you're trying to speak to.
Yeah. So another key component of your work is storytelling. You shared with me that you think that women, don't think their story or their content is interesting, and that breaks your heart. So how does creativity feature in supporting women to own and honor their powerful stories then,
It does break my heart when women go, my story's not interesting. I go, you're absolutely interesting. Everybody's got a really interesting story. So I say to my clients, your message is in your mess. Like no one really wants to hear a story about, I tried to do this thing and I was really successful and I did it. We all, have things sometimes work and sometimes don't, and we learn from it, et cetera, et cetera. So if you think about just the basic storytelling, like if you watch a film or read a book, it's generally about a character who wants something, right? They have a goal or they're on a quest and they leave their ordinary world to go into the new world, sometimes hesitantly, sometimes voluntarily, right? They meet mentors and allies and enemies. Okay, they have ups and downs. Some things work, some things don't. But generally, they'll get through the journey to the end. They'll learn new skills. They'll come back transformed in some way from that journey or that quest. And then they'll come back and share their wisdom with the community or the rest of the world. So that's the basic story structure of any film. And that's the basic structure of us and our stories. We wanted something, we took it on, we gave it a go. Some things worked, some things didn't, but ultimately we learnt and we transformed.
So cool.
So I use that structure very strongly when I'm working with women and try and use that analogy of, you know, your message is in your mess and your mess is interesting. And that's what makes us all different. We've all got different ways that we do things. We've all got different personal experiences. We all come from different backgrounds.
Mm. And it makes it relatable then, doesn't it? The thing that was really coming up for me as you were saying all of that was the concept of the messy middle. You know, it's like embrace the messy middle.
Yeah.
And interestingly, the messy middle, yes, obviously applies to exactly what, you know, what we're talking about with storytelling, but the messy middle also applies to creative projects. So
Yeah.
like, for example, if you're painting something, quite often you'll have a really ugly stage in the middle that's that's not so great, but you need it in order to get to the finish
Yeah.
line. Yeah.
It's just, and this is where compassion comes into it and
Mhm.
kind of, you know, having that expectation. You will get to the messy middle. So be
Mm.
ready for it. And when it does happen, it's okay. You know,
Yeah.
you will get to the other side. It's the same in script writing. We always talk about the first draft as being the vomit draft. It's the one you just got to get on the page. It's not going to be the final draft. You're going to go through many drafts, but
Mm.
it's going to be the one that it'll probably be the most raw and vulnerable that you'll come back to.
So one of my personal blocks when it comes to getting in front of the camera is actually a deeply ingrained fear of being seen and not
Mm,
being accepted.
mm.
And I know we've sort of touched on it briefly, but how do you help women overcome that, you know, that kind of that fear, I guess, that, you know, of just being seen and people not liking them or people
Mm.
judging them? How do you help women get past that?
Well, I've got my own personal story of that as well. Of course,
Okay.
I've been through it. So I'll tell my little story. So I was developing an online course, and for almost 12 months, I was perfecting the PowerPoint, right? For 12 months, I worked on this PowerPoint. And I had to, you know, eventually, like the light bulb went off and went, what? Why am I stuck? What is going on here? So I had to kind of really do some soul searching. And for me, I was scared of being judged.
Mm.
I was petrified of being judged. And I was stuck in this perfectionism, you know, circle of just working on this PowerPoint for weeks and weeks and weeks, over months and months and months. And I can't tell you who these people were that I was worried about that were going to judge me. Like, I don't know who they were. It was just that pervading feeling of being judged and not accepted. So I do totally, you know, I've experienced it
Mm.
myself, so I do understand that. So when I do work with women, I really connect to the why. It's your
Mhm.
why. And once again, trying to take the focus off yourself and onto being of service to others, right? And your why. So why are you doing what you're doing? Either, you know, your art or your business or whatever it is, your creative practice, whatever that is. Is it to share your passion? You are so passionate about it. Is it to help people and be of service? Is it legacy? Do you want to leave a legacy, you know, to other people? Do you want to leave something behind? Do you want to make a difference in the world? It could be fame and fortune. That's okay too. If it's about money, that's all right. No judgment. Or it could be a number of other things. So I really try to connect the women that I'm working with to their why, and then that helps overcome those kind of mindsets that are just not helping us.
Yeah, sure. Very powerful. Yeah, I mean, it's almost like, you know, what's the point, right? So we get stuck in our heads so much, but actually, you know, if you're clear on what the actual point is and why it's so important to you, then, you know, a lot of that fear you can manage, you know, and move through. Yeah, very
And, that,
powerful.
and then an acceptance, you know, and compassion around that might change. You know, you
Mm,
are going to have wobbly days,
mm,
but it's like, okay, this is a wobbly day. I've had a wobbly day before and I pushed through it. I'm going to have wobbly days again, and I'm going to have really confident days as well.
mm.
So, you know, if you're working and you're doing video, you know, some days are going to be better than others, but you keep pushing through you keep kind of challenging your mindset, you keep being compassionate to yourself.
Mm.
And the more you do it, as in any creative practice, the more you'll get used to the kind of, I suppose, obstacles and barriers that will come up as well.
Yeah.
And you'll probably get to a point where you'll know, oh, that's going to come up. I know that's going to come up, but I'll be okay. I've got through that before.
Mm. And I guess, done is better than perfect a lot of the time when it comes to video.
Yeah. Take action.
Just get it done.
Yeah.
Quite often it's, when I'm having the bad hair day and,
Yeah.
I don't have the right clothes on, that I'm just like, if I don't do it now, it's going to be another week or another month or.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Mm.
That's right. And it's dropping that perfectionism.
Yeah.
It really is. And I think that's in all of us. So it's just, okay, all right, I'm feeling a bit uncomfortable today. Why am I feeling uncomfortable? Okay, it's this. I'm being a perfectionist. It's
Yeah.
okay. Take action. Clarity comes from action.
And what about the social media effect? Like sometimes we're creating video content, even if it's, very short video content.
Mm.
And I think with social media, because of the saturation and, the algorithm and all the other bits and pieces, you often won't get an immediate response and there isn't that sense of immediate gratification. Do you know what I mean? So how do you help people to keep showing up even though, they might not get that instant response,
Having a big conversation around exactly all that. It's like kind of challenging yourself and having a little bit of self-awareness as to, when I post, what am I expecting?
Yeah.
Do I expect 100 likes, and if I don't get it, do I then, go into a ball on the ground and completely fall to pieces? Or so trying to kind of unplug yourself from that instant gratification from social media, and that, people are watching. Just because you have to have that confidence that people are watching you, even though they might not be commenting or even liking your posts, they're watching. And they're taking you in, and they're deciding whether they want to be part of your community or they're working with you. It doesn't, just because you don't get a like, doesn't mean that no one's listening.
Yeah, that's so true, actually, isn't it? Yeah, it's a shift in mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it can feel lonely, but ultimately, I think if you, I mean, part of my own journey has been around trying to love what I'm putting out. Do you know what I mean? Like the more I love
Yep.
it, less it matters what kind of response you get, because it came from a place of love and good intention and
That's
service.
right.
Mm.
And everyone will work differently. Like, you might like to be the type of person that does batch videos. You'll do them all in one day. You might do a month's videos in one day, or you might be a person that actually has to wait until you're inspired. And either way is fine. Or you might, I often walk, I go for walks, and ideas will start coming to me. And then I might actually do a video on the walk, or I might write my ideas down, but find something that actually kind of inspires you and puts you in that headspace where things do come to you.
Yeah.
And that can help as well.
Yeah, for sure. So what does your own self-care and wellness routine look like then? And how does creativity play a part in that?
So like I've said, I'm definitely a collaborative artist, if you like. I love nothing more than to work with people. I'm an extrovert. I don't necessarily like to work alone. I like to work with somebody or in a group of people. I need that human contact and to bounce off ideas, etc. That's very important to me. So for my own well-being and wellness, over time, I've had to understand how I like to work and what works best for me, instead of trying to do, something, this is how someone else works and they're really successful or whatever. I've had to find my own way, and I've done that by various means, just kind of trying and seeing what works and what lights me up, what doesn't, what energizes me and what doesn't. Just, general self-awareness and just understanding who I am. So that can help me. Yeah, I think for me, it's really over time, I've been able to understand more who I am, but my creative practice has allowed me to do that. It's the creative practice and the doing the work and doing the art or doing the filmmaking or the painting or whatever your thing is that has actually unpacked and opened up who I am.
Wow, so
Because if I
powerful.
hadn't done that, if I hadn't attempted the creative practice, I wouldn't be so self-aware.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've gone hand in hand.
So powerful. That's at the center of everything that I'm doing. So yeah, I really appreciate that sentiment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very powerful. So for all the women who are seeking more creative confidence then on camera and in life, what critical questions would you have them ask themselves today?
I would ask them to spend a little bit of time and just, over the next few weeks, perhaps just notice when they either feel lit up, when something really lights them up. What is it? What have they done? What is it about that day that, got them excited? To really reflect into their why they're doing what they do, and to continually be curious, to bring that lens of curiosity to everything, and to not be too hard and judgmental on themselves. Be curious. Try something. See how it feels. See if it fits you or not. What you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. And then do more of what did work, what did light you up, what did feel right. Instead of, trying to do what everybody else does, put it to the test and find what works for you, what you really like, what sits with you, which instinctually works for you.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, I think sometimes the self-care can feel like a bit more like another to-do list kind of when you're really focused on what's working for other people instead of listening to what you need. And the other thing for me that I've really noticed is that consistency doesn't necessarily mean every day or even every week. It's your own rhythm. You know what I mean? Like you've got to find your own rhythm with things.
Absolutely. Because otherwise, if things feel, there's a difference between just kind of a little bit of confidence and it feeling really like not right for you. And it's finding that balance. If it feels not right completely, it's probably not right, but you can still bring a self-awareness to that and go, okay, what's the barrier here? What am I fighting against?
Yeah. And I guess it's ultimately is it feel, is it because it doesn't feel good or is it because I'm resisting it because of fear or, anxiety or whatever? Yeah.
That's right.
So cool. So how can people get to know you a bit better than Kath? How can they get a real feel for the work that you're doing?
I have a Facebook group with a lovely community in it called Video Secrets for Online Entrepreneurs. And I also have my website, which is kathmcintyre.com. But, like I said, I'm a collaborator. I'm happy to help people. Please DM me, Kath McIntyre. I'm on mostly Facebook, not so much Instagram. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. I really enjoyed our conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been great.
Start reconnecting with your inner creative magic with a powerful 10-minute meditation. This meditation is designed to help you reconnect to yourself, your creativity, and spark your inner wisdom by guiding you to discover your own unique and personal sacred creative space as you tune into your intuition. Please head to samhorton.co/gift.